Hello friends, welcome to my channel Raghavi Stories. Let's try to understand an interesting concept called currency reset. Let's see what does it mean. So currency reset is the process of adjusting values of currencies relative to each other, typically through something called devaluation or revaluation. Devaluation and revaluation are two opposing concepts used to describe changes in the value of a country's currency in relation to other currencies. Let's try to understand these terms first. Devaluation refers to a decrease in the value of a country's currency relative to other currencies. This can happen due to factors such as inflation, a decrease in the demand for a country's exports, or an increase in the supply of its currency. A devaluation makes a country's exports cheaper and imports more expensive, which can help improve its trade balance and competitiveness in the global market. Revaluation, on the other hand, refers to an increase in the value of the country's currency relative to other currencies. This can happen due to factors such as increase in the demand for a country's exports or a decrease in the supply of its currencies. A revaluation makes a country's exports more expensive and imports cheaper, which can hurt its trade balance and competitiveness in the global market. So you can see it is totally opposite to what we discussed in devaluation. Now, both devaluation and revaluation can have significant impact on a country's economy and its relation with each other countries. However, whether they are beneficial or harmful depends on the specific circumstances and the policies implemented by its government in response. Now, let's try to understand what causes the currency reset for any country. So, there are various factors such as the inflation, high debt, political instability, and economic crisis. So basically, whenever a country's economy is struggling, its currency loses value against other currencies, and a currency reset may become necessary to restore balance and stability in international trade relations. Let's try to understand what are the various types of currency reset. So there are three options we have got. The first option is something called fixed exchange rate system. In this system, countries agreed to maintain a fixed exchange rate between their currencies. Second option is something called floating exchange rate system. In a floating exchange rate system, currencies fluctuate freely based on market forces. And the third and last option is gold-based system. In a gold-based system, countries set their currency values based on a fixed quantity of gold reserves. So, let's try to understand what is the impact of currency reset. So, the effect of currency reset can be felt across the world as it influences import and export prices. It also impacts the interest rates, inflation rates, and overall economic growth. Currency reset can also lead to a political tensions and geopolitical implications as countries try to protect their economic interests. Let's discuss some of the currency resets which has happened in the past. So the first example, and which is one of the most important in history, is something called Bretton Woods Agreement, which happened in 1944. So this was an international agreement signed by major countries after World War II to stabilize the global economy. It established the US dollar as the world's reserve currency and fixed the exchange rate of other currencies to the US dollar. But the agreement lasted until 1971 only, when the US abandoned the gold standard, which led to a reset of exchange rate. A second example we can think about is something called German reunification, which happened in 1990. Sorry. So, if you remember, following the fall of the Berlin Wall and the reunification of East and West Germany, the West Germany mark was extended to East Germany, which has been using a separate currency that time. This led to a currency reset and devaluation of the East German currency. Another example we can discuss is something around the Mexican peso crisis, which happened in 1994. So, where Mexico experienced a severe economic crisis in 1994, which led to a devaluation of the Mexican peso. The government implemented a currency reset by fixing the exchange rate of the peso to the US dollar, which helped stabilize the economy later. And Another example we can discuss, which happened in the Zimbabwe, which was called Zimbabwe hyperinflation 2009. So basically, Zimbabwe experienced a severe hyperinflation in the late 2000s, which led to the collapse of its currency. The government implemented a currency reset by abandoning the Zimbabwean dollar and adopting the US dollar and other foreign currencies as legal tender. So you can see the impact of currency reset on the various countries and their economy. And these are just few examples. Now also, if you see, the recent examples have been around the Sri Lanka and the Pakistan, where the economic crisis going on. So we may never know if you will see some additional currency resets in future. So I hope you like this article, and thanks a lot for listening to this video. And if you like it, please like and subscribe my channel, Raghavi Stories. Thank you.